So today we are going to see Create SQL Database. Okay, and how do we do that? Let's understand it. So I'm going to share my screen and particularly Azure page with you. Let me know in case if you can see this. Okay, so we are going to do this exercise. Create the SQL database. Okay. And okay, so first of all, whenever we are creating a SQL database like this, SQL database page, we need to go to the Azure portal, and from there we need to go to the create a resource page. Under this, we can search for SQL database in case if we want to create the SQL database, and that will land us on this particular page. Okay. Now here, as I mentioned earlier, that subscription is important for us. What is the subscription where we wanted to create our database? So we can create a subscription, and we can also create a resource group. Okay. So now I'm just choosing a subscription and a resource group here. In case if we want, we can also create a new. But right now I'm just choosing the existing resource group. Now in this resource group, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the database. Okay, so I'm just going to choose a database name. For example, I'm creating a database with say DB1. Okay, so that is my database, or maybe I can say, yeah, that should be fine because right now we don't have any other database. So just I'm putting it DB1. Maybe I can say add because we are creating SQL database, so I can say DB1 SQL. Okay. Now we need to create select a server, right? So which server we wanted to create, or we can create new. Okay. Now okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to switch to the now here we are going to create the okay. So here also on the server side, let us create new one. Okay. So because the server is not available right now, so let's create a new one. So when we are creating a SQL database server, gives the server name, right? So on the server name, we can choose anything. For example, I can say SQL server, and then maybe say 1, 2, 3. Let's see if the name is already in use or not. So it says that the specified server name is already in use. So let me create one more. Still, okay. So SQL server, maybe then I will add something GP 1, 2, 3. Yes, so this is available. So this is my server name. The location could be East US. Then authentication method. So in the authentication method, we can use SQL authentication. So it will authenticate the, anyone who is entering into it. So select your preferred authentication method for accessing this server. Create server admin login and password. Now we are going to create the server admin login. So in the admin, we can say SQL admin. Then password, we can put a password, say password. So this is your password. Again, password. So now this is your password. Okay, now this is how you create the admin login and password. Now you're clicking OK to move next. Now for this DB1 SQL, you wanted to see that what is next you are doing. So now let us okay, so we have created this. Now as part of the next section, now we just need to okay, so this is done. General purpose default to redundant backup, yes, and then we are going to create. So it says that DB1 SQL and general purpose compute plus storage. It will take some time to do the initialization. So once it will get created, then we will go for networking. And there we will configure the network related settings. So it says that it is failed. Why? Because in the networking, okay, in the networking, we need to set up the public endpoint, and then we need to go for firewall rules. Let us keep it as a default, no, and then connectivity group, connectivity policy, let us remain it as a default. Minimum TLS version 1.2. Next, security. Next, security. So says enable Microsoft Defender for SQL instead of free trial. I just select not now. Then we are going to do in the additional setting. In the additional setting, we are going to choose use existing data sample. And then we are going to database collection. Let it remain. And we are going to do the create plus. And we are going to do so. Okay, we are going to do the create. It will take a while to record it or to create it. Let's see once it is done. Yes, so now it looks like that, yes, deployment is in progress. And normally it takes 2 to 5 minutes to create the server and deploy the same database. Sorry, so deploy the sample database. The deployment pen will show the status with update for the each resource that is created. Once the deployment is complete, you can move ahead and whatever you do, whatever you want, you can go to the resources and in the overview, and then you can set firewall, firewall. So let us wait for some time to get it completed. So deployment is in progress right now. So now see, once as it is creating this SQL server, so what it does is it created these resources, DB1 SQL, that's your SQL server GP, and you are creating DB1 SQL. Then it is creating another resource, which is for the default user, and then SQL server. This is your SQL. This is your policy. This is your database. So this is your policy. So along with the database, it also creates the policy. It creates the server. So it says deployment succeed. Now again, we have two things. One is go to resource and one is print to dashboard. So let us click on go to resource here. Now you can see that it has created the resource group, and this is the ID of the resource group. And the server name is this. So in case if you directly wanted to hit the server, you can use this endpoint. And so these are the key information basically. And then now you are in this server page. So in the now the DB1 SQL database has been created. Now let us create set server firewall. Now this will give you the firewall setting page. Now it says that allow Azure services and resources to access this server. So you are saying it yes, because you wanted to connect the Azure services and the resources. So all Azure services you wanted to connect with, with the server. So therefore you selected it as a yes. In the command bar, now select save. Okay. So okay. Now what you will do is, now we can close the firewall setting page. Now after this, let us do the now we have created the SQL server along with the sample database. Now what we're going to do is, in Azure resource menu, now we are going to select all resources. Now you are in the resource pages. Here you have your database, SQL database. So you just select it. So here you can see that your database has been created. Now here you will do you will enter your password, which you just have created during while you created your SQL server. So you're just entering the same password here. And it says that you will not be able to sign in because your IP address need to be enabled in the firewall rule, right? So first of all, now so this is your authentication method, right? So it says that cannot open serverless request by login. Client with IP address this is not allowed to access the server. So it is giving you the IP address. So the client with IP address is not allowed to access the server. Okay. So what you need to do is in the query editor, click on overview. It says okay. Now set server firewall. Now here it says that client IP address this, right? So just because I have noted down the IP, so I think this is same. Exactly, this is the same. Now in the client IP address section, it is showing my IP. And now in the command bar, select add IP, add client IP. So you don't need to do anything here. This is your client IP address. So you just clicked on add client IP, and it will create a rule and start IP and end IP. It will automatically create this. Okay. And then just you save it. Now you close it. Now you're going to all resources, back again. You are selecting your database. It will take a while to come back. Now click on the query editor. In the SQL admin, then you put your password. Now you see, now it is not showing an error because you have saved your IP, client IP in your firewall. Now, in case if you will still get the error, then verify your client IP address is correct. And in the firewall setting, after you sign in successfully, you can see this is your query editor for this particular database. Now you can view your tables from here, that what all table exists. Okay. Now in this, basically sales dot your product category. So this is your product category table. So you can explore this. Now in this product category table, you can see that it has a product category name. In the product category, in case you want to see, so what you're doing is you can see select star from sales LT. Dot product category, and if you run this, it is displaying you the product category, your name, row ID, modified this thing like this. Okay, and these are your product category, then parent product category ID, then name, like this. Now in case if you wanted to, so your query is like succeeded, right? So that indicates that your database has been created. Now in case if you want your category name, this name is your category name, and okay, so this is your PC product category table, and this is your product table, which is this. Okay, and then you are joining it based on your product category ID. So this is your product category ID. And so PC dot product category ID is equal to P dot product category ID. So both you are combining this PC dot product category, and this is, then you are running it. So you are basically taking the data from two. One is from product category, and then you are joining it with the sales LT dot product, and then how you are joining is based on this. Now it says failed by, because could not find stored procedure produce. Select top this thing category P dot product name from what is the mistake? Okay, nothing was there. Okay, so you can see the product category name and the product name are listing. This is how you are going to check that your database has been created.